everyone, it's Tuesday again, which means you're stuck with me, Adele, and this week we're going to be talking about cisnormativity and cisgender. So how about let's just take a minute to review what those words mean. So cisgender means that your gender identity matches the gender you were assigned at birth. So when we're all born, regardless of how we'll feel later in life, or, well, regardless of a lot of things, the doctor will look at our privates and be like, hey, it's a girl, or hey, it's a boy. And if that gender identity works for you, whatever that doctor said those many years ago, then you are cisgender. Cisnormativity is the idea that society has that it's normal to be cis, and that anything and anyone who isn't cisgender is not normal. And it kind of turns into an assumption that everyone is cis until proven otherwise. That's why anyone who isn't cis has to come out. So I'm sure you've already noticed that cisgender is deeply tied to the gender binary. What the doctor sees down there, what we consider to be biological sex, is just as messy as gender is. And so cisgender is based on that idea that there's only two options, and so you end up with this gender binary, which is kind of connected to gender roles, and gender roles are kind of awful. So cisnormativity is an assumption, right? It's not something that we know about people. And connecting that to gender roles, it's all kind of meshed in with one another. So if you assume that someone you see on the street is cis, then you're either going to be assuming that they're a boy or a girl based on how they present their gender. And once your brain has decided whether or not they're a boy or a girl, that gets led into a bunch of other assumptions that you make about them that are based on these stereotypes we have of what it means to be a boy and what it means to be a girl. So, just an example, if you see someone on the street and you're not sure what gender they are at first, your brain's gonna go through this little error, and eventually it's going to decide based on, like, well, I guess they kind of have a sway to them, and they're a little slim. Which, I don't know, that just, yeah. So, and then you're going to assume you know all these other things about this person because your brain has decided for them that they're a girl. So, you're going to assume that they have a vagina, and that they have some sort of breast tissue, and that they have ovaries, and that they like the color pink, and that they played with Barbies when they were little, and that they love fashion and to wear nice clothes, and that blah 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 blah, and they're emotional, and all of this shit. Now, all of these things that I've listed, if you're sensitive to the bullshit that is stereotypes, you're probably a little upset that these are all the things that I've decided to associate with girls. But I haven't decided that. It's society as a whole. And no matter how untrue it is, and no matter how outside of society you see yourself, these assumptions still creep into your head. We're taught this so early on, even in just like advertisements, that it becomes integrated into our brains and the way we look at people. And all just by assuming that everyone is cisgender. And I think that this is really dehumanizing when we look at someone and we reduce them to a stereotype. It's even, it's bad for everyone, whether you do identify as male, whether you do identify as female, or something in between. It's harmful for everyone, because then people aren't looking at you as a person. They're looking at you as a gender first. They're looking at you and they're saying, oh, this is a boy. Now I know all of these things about him. And if he differs in any way, he is unusual. And for some reason, society and our brains, when we're confronted with these exceptions, and very often as well, it's not the system that becomes wrong, it's the person. So it doesn't end up being, oh, this person doesn't fit with my ideas of what this means, therefore my ideas must be wrong. It's that the person must be wrong. And as you can see, that's also very harmful. And like I said before, you can't really escape this kind of thinking. It's ingrained in all of us, even in the most innocent of ways. I catch myself doing this all the time because we're programmed to do it. We're pre-programmed to do it from all of the experiences that we've grown up with. What really matters is that when you notice yourself doing these things, that you take a step back and you recognize what you're doing and you see how harmful it is, and you tell yourself something different. You may see someone and you're like, they're a girl, but they like sports? What? That's kind of unusual. And that assumption doesn't seem harmful, but it is. And so when you catch yourself doing that, you kind of just got to tell yourself, that's not weird. That's normal. Everyone's normal because everyone's weird. That sort of paradox thing. I really hate that, but it's also very true. So, yeah. That's about what I have to say. I really hope this video isn't rambly. I planned it out, but I also feel like I didn't follow my plan very well. It's kind of sticky. Next week is free topic week, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, so anyone who has suggestions, it would be awesome if you left them in the comments down there. So cool. Just anything you guys want to see from me. I'll see if I can do that. Yep. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.